You're welcome back. It is still the AM Weekend Show. Right now, we're going to be looking into navigating parenting in 2025. I mean, we're in a world where independence is talked about a lot, mental health is talked about a lot. Children seem to be different as well. In 2025, we've seen different brands of children. So when we talk about soft parenting, it is questioned. You know, soft parenting came out and a lot of people seem to be so into it. But because we're Africans and we're raised differently, soft parenting is questioned highly. And then we talk about hard parenting, the way that we were brought up, the way that most of us here were brought up. And when you bring that up, it is feared. People approach it with fear. People say, no, it brings about enmity between parents and children and all manner of disadvantages. So we're just going to deep dive into the conversation and find out what really works. And joining us to have that conversation is Mrs. Geraldine Ezeobi, a life coach and a counselor. Welcome to the show, ma'am.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. You look so beautiful, by the way.
I like your tone. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Okay, so let's start this way.
Okay.
Soft parenting versus hard parenting.
Okay.
Your personal. Don't give me general view.
I understand. You know, just like you said, it's there's a thin line, right? Some people believe we should go the hard way. Some people believe we should go the soft way. But I like to say it's a blend of two. If you're sticking to the old way you were raised, I'm sorry, that generation and this generation are not the same. The shared experiences that this generation have and the experiences that generation is not the same thing. Then if you say, oh, I want to go all soft and, you know, remove a bit of the hard, then it's also problematic because a growing child needs to be shaped. You know, they need to be directed. And I don't think, I mean, if you've raised, not to, you know, compare children with animals, but I mean, you have your animals around. If you're trying to control them, you have to use some tricks, you know, to get them to do the same thing. Same thing when you're raising a child, you can't be all soft. They want to have ice cream every day. You're not going to say, you know what, for peace to reign. You know, oh, they want, you have to understand what the child wants and not what the child needs. And then you're providing ice cream every day. So it's a balance of both. You can't outrightly be on one side. That means you can stick alone to soft parenting or stick to hard parenting alone. You have to be the blend of the two.
Before we continue, we have a video from Reina.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you follow Reina on social media.
I don't think so.
A very small girl with her mother. They, you know, make content about themselves and their families and how she's raising her children.
Okay, maybe I might have watched it, but can't remember the name.
They recently made a video of her correcting her child.
She was throwing tantrums.
Exactly.
Oh,
Let's
that's
have the
what
video.
Rina, why are you shouting? I'm ready, calm. I take the deep breath. I'm calm already.
So what do you want me to do?
Take my iPad out of there. That's what I want you to do.
Why
You're my mommy.
I know that I'm your mommy. Why did I keep the iPad there in the first place?
It's because I was misbehaving.
Okay.
But I want it back.
Are you behaving properly now?
But now I am. I'm already calm. Because I was really angry.
Do you see me shouting and screaming when I'm mad? So is shouting and screaming a way to express yourself?
No.
Imagine everybody in this house is shouting. You are shouting, I'm shouting, daddy's shouting. Can we hear each other? So what makes you feel like shouting and screaming is a way to express yourself? How do you communicate your feelings?
I'm taking a deep breath.
Did you take a deep breath before you started screaming and shouting and hitting everywhere? Then you asked me to watch something with you and I told you that I couldn't watch anything because I was tired. And then you got angry and you dropped the iPad. Is that a good way to behave?
No. But you're my mommy. She always watch everything with me.
I know, but sometimes your mommy is tired. And it's okay for your mommy to rest, right? I just wanted to rest. There was no need for that behavior. Wipe your tears.
Sorry, mommy.
What are you sorry for?
Sorry for misbehaving. Take the wrong thing.
Yeah, clean your eyes.
Mama, I can't.
Why?
It's really sad. I just want to tell the whole story. Mom, I thought that was only for you to forgive me.
You should tell grandma. But I've been calm the whole time. I just wanted you to, you know, take out all the feelings.
But I can't. My feelings will never go. Not even now.
You're going to pop the veins in your head. Because you're crying unnecessarily. Do you love me? Say it.
Yes.
Yes, what?
Just mommy.
So you're trying to maintain steam.
Now that is such a cute video with such a happy ending. However, it got a lot of reactions. It got mixed reactions. There were people who thought, oh, this is so beautiful, I want to try it out. And there are others who thought if you raise this child this way, you are harming the child. And then some people weirdly had a problem with how assertive the child was. So I'd like to know, what do you think is wrong with this video? Is there anything wrong with it?
Okay, I had watched that video, and analyzed it. At this point, with this clip we watched, I don't think there's anything wrong. Now, what is she doing right? Okay, first of all, she has modeled the behavior that the child learns to copy and, replay back to her. Children at this particular age, I guess the child should be between 3 and 4. Children, they model whatever you give to them. Yes, they are showing their natural characteristics or natural traits. So naturally, she's assertive, and it shows that the mom has actually made the home environment, a bit free for her to be able to express herself. So if you have a problem with that child being assertive, then you're going to have a problem with the generation that is coming up. The Gen Alphas are a why not generation. They are assertive. Yes, as I also work in the educational field, right? We have this problem of them not knowing the line between being outrightly rude and being assertive. But then you have to understand that you are now living in their time, right? You have to understand the language they speak and ensure that communication between both generations. You as a millennial, baby bloomer, or whatever generation you're coming from, you're now in this generation, you're raising this generation, understand how they think, understand how they communicate. So I don't think there's a problem. In fact, the mom made a very beautiful environment for this child to be able to express herself. So she's raising a confident girl, which is lacking. Now, see what happens if the mom uses another method of parenting, say the hard one, to be like, shut up, why would you? Do you know what she's going to raise? She's going to raise a child who is cannot speak up for themselves, might have self-esteem issues, seek validation from people outside, because it's not in her natural, characteristics to be quiet. And that's what some of the mistakes our generation made that we had to start fixing. Going for programs, they're teaching us, if you notice, the language during our time was self-esteem. During our time, when think back to when you were teenagers, you hear self-esteem program, self-improvement program, but now what you hear is mental health. And that's what you hear now, right? Because they have this surge of emotions. They're battling in lots. Social media has made it even worse. I don't want to say worse, right? Because it's good, but chaotic. That means there's so much information. There's so much issues to deal with at the same time. Here's a child having a bad day and social media is telling them you're depressed.
There's a name, there's a term for everything.
And there's a drug for everything. So these children have access to the information that they don't even need you as a parent. So guess what? If you had parents, they block you out and depend on social media. And social media will raise your child. You see how dangerous it is. So there is nothing. It's good as parents that we, first of all, model the behavior. Now is not the time where you say, oh, a child of a sheep will always be a sheep. If you want your child to be a sheep, then you have to be a sheep. If you want your child to be assertive, that means you would not be a parent that shuts them down. You make the home a place for them to express themselves. They'll go to society. Yeah, they'll go to village meetings. Those village women, during Christmas time, they shut up. When they come and they should be able to say, Mom, I don't really like Auntie's stuff. The way she talked to me, and you walk them through that emotion. But if you join them there and, clamp them down, beyond you trying to teach them to what you call respectful, you're killing the personality. That's that thing that will make them thrive in this current generation. Remember, you're not raising your children to fit into your generation. You're raising them to be leaders in the generation that they are going to find themselves.
Now, you mentioned something about being outrightly rude and a place of being assertive. How do we make them understand the boundary? Because I've seen situations where somebody's very assertive and, she has the environment to, express herself at home. Then when she goes out, she now, when people that are not of her generation, just like, let's use the meeting, let's say, Umada meeting at the village, when they don't get there, they talk to everybody rudely. And these people don't take it in. So how do we make them understand that this is a generation and this is a generation? So this is where you have to know the line.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I work a lot with teenagers. That's my demographic, right? I work a lot with teenagers, and there's something I teach them, and that's social intelligence.
Okay.
So as much as I'm teaching you to be assertive, I'm teaching you to be socially and emotionally intelligent. Understand the space you're in. Understand the people you're dealing with, right? Understand, oh, this is a time. How am I as a person? If I notice, oh, I'm someone that likes to get my own opinion heard, I don't care what you people think, listen to me here and now. And then I come and see someone that has the same attitude. What happens? For the communication to flow, I would tone down my personality, right? So socially, that's where the skill, social intelligence comes in. Teach the child to understand social settings, to understand how to communicate effectively and communicate right. So, hey, I know, you can go to the US and say, hi, Miss Jima, hi. Or you see somebody 80 years old and you're like, hi, Stella. Once you cross, you cross the border and you're in Nigeria, it changes. Everybody is your auntie, everybody is your uncle. Yes, you understand that they are not related by blood, but this is the cultural thing that let the child understand. We just assume that children are too, they don't know. It's a big fat lie. What a 5-year-old knows now is what in my generation, probably a 10-year-old would have known. When you talk about so many kind of information that as parents we gatekeep for them. What's the information you had at 12? They've had it at 6. So ensure that you communicate right to them, teach them social intelligence. I think when a child is socially and emotionally intelligent, then they know when to draw the line. I used to have, a child I worked with, I knew him like 3 years ago, very assertive, and outrightly rude. But when I got to talk to him, I saw he's not rude, he's just trying to be heard. And then by the time I started teaching him the steps to take, there was an incident and I told him, go and tell that. He said, no. There's how this person, an adult, he said, oh, there's how this person behave. I don't think we would communicate well. Can you be an in-between? That's a social intelligent child. The child I met 3 years ago would have been, and then make a whole. But this child is saying, no, can you go with me so that you be an in-between because we don't communicate right. So once you teach your child, your ward, whichever child is around you, under your care, how to be socially intelligent, you bridge that gap between being assertive and being outrightly rude.
Okay, that is beautiful.
Thank you.
Now let's look at the parents' side.
Okay.
Most of this generation we're talking about do not understand this, do not know it. So how will they be able to give what they don't have?
The first thing I tell anyone that wants to get parenting right, I'm a parent myself. I think I have 3 children, right? And different characteristics, different traits. Each child is totally different. I don't know if there's anyone that experienced that like me. One thing, you read to become a lawyer. You study 4 years to become a lawyer. You read to become a doctor or whatever. Why don't you plan to improve as a parent? First of all, do you know the kind of parents you want to be? That's usually the problem. We just, get married, all lovey-dovey. The children comes and you think you got it all figured out. You got nothing. Yes. So you need to, understand first of all, what kind of parents do I want to be? Do I want to be do I want to apply soft parenting? Do I want to apply, hard parenting? There's something I did, and I think I tapped myself on the shoulder when I remember that. My first child is 5-year gap between the second one. And when the second one came, it was so hard balancing school, career, raising children. And it got to a point she felt neglected. Right. And I sat her down and I had a conversation. I did not know where I got that idea from. She was like 5 then. And I said, see, you're my first experiment. I've never been a parent anywhere in this world, right? You're the first child I have. I would make mistakes, right, raising you because I'm trying to get it right. If anytime you ever feel uncomfortable or you feel that I'm a threat to you, and I become that when you hear mommy, let me know. Wow. Sometimes I need to revisit some decisions I make. I make decisions based on my emotions, based on my own experiences. That has nothing to do with her. I said, don't breathe that uncle, come out. He looks suspicious. And the poor girl is just trying to be nice, those kind of things. What do? I tone down. So the way you prepare to become whatever, career you're pursuing, you need to prepare for parenting. Understand yourself as a parent. Know when you have to change. If you're someone that, I shout a lot. And now my daughter shouts a lot to her siblings. And when she does that, I'm pained because you model the behavior. I know I don't need to guess where it's coming from. It's me. But now I need that to change. Guess what? When I'm so angry, like when I went home yesterday, she did something, I was super upset. But guess what? I knew she was waiting for me to act, so I didn't act on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't act on it. I didn't say nothing. I said, you know what? We'll talk about this later. And I'm going to give like 2-3 days. Why am I giving those days? I was angry.
So you need to calm down.
I was angry. If I had approached her with the surge of anger I was feeling at that time, I'll do things wrong. So what do I have to do? I'm checking myself first. I'm calming myself first. And then I'm thinking, okay, how best do I reach out to this child? I remember I first of all said, no child is the same. So the tools you apply for child A and the methods you do for child B might not be the same. You have to understand the child you are raising at that particular time.
Now that is beautiful. Unfortunately, we are gradually running out of time, but I have like 2 questions.
Okay,
now.
I'll try and be
So
fast.
the first now is, with what we've seen, we've agreed now that soft parenting.
It has to be a blend of both.
Yes. We've seen that certain things are not very okay, especially with the generation we're in now. Soft parenting is applaudable, but has its lapses.
Yeah.
We're seeing, like we mentioned, mental health, this, a lot of things. Social media is not even helping matters. And then we also see that how we were trained was not very okay.
Yeah.
So
a lot. The middle that has a lot to deal with. Unlearning, relearning.
So the question now is,
just for
Didi.
how do we? There's something I'm trying to communicate, but it's deep. It's a lot deeper. Okay, I'll phrase it this way now. What would you say that today's child is lacking? What would you say that today's child needs more than anything else, just for them to be balanced with all of this that is going on?
I think I would lie if I said this is it, right? I don't think there's a one-size-fits-all that if you give it to that child, it becomes okay. That's a big fat lie, right? This child is it's in an environment and would have so many experiences and so many issues to deal with. But what is the basic thing that would help a lot to address this problem? And that's a strong family. The family structure needs to be revisited. Once there's a crack in that basic structure of having a good family, the chances that a child will be thrown out to the wolves become high and even become a wolf themselves. If you can look at a family unit, if the family can be a safe haven for a child, if the family can be where a child will learn good behavior, where a child will have good models to follow, like they can look at their mom and say, I want to be like my mom. Look at their dad and say, you know what, my dad is getting it right. If we can get the family structure right, I think we've solved, if not 50% of the problem a child will likely face. The home front needs to be strong.
Is that realistic?
A child needs to always know that they can come home. Children are running out of home. I've had parents come and be like, you know what, Miss Geraldine, I know I've lost this child. I know that, I've made it. How do I come in? I've had it. They'll be like, no, my mother will be okay with it. And you're like, sure. I've had to sit a parent down and say, oh, this is a problem. And the parent is telling you, I don't see that as a problem. You see, so once we get the home front right, there's a father, there's a mother, they are working together in harmony. I think 50% of the problem has been solved.
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you so much. This was a very wholesome conversation. And I kind of feel like I started to manifest my inner child at some point, and I was drawn to some of my traumas too. And I mean, it's just so deep. Yeah. There's just a lot of gaps that we haven't been able to sort out. There's just a lot. Thinking about the things I was trying to ask, and I'm seeing how I'm connecting it to myself, connecting it to my emotions, connecting it to how I was raised. Well, I thank the Lord. We came out fine.
Exactly.
We're not doing so badly. But thank you so much one more time for joining us. That was Mrs. Geraldine Ezeobi, life coach and a counselor. Up next on the AM Weekend Show is social media trends. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.